You know, y'all like to be in everybody's bed and want to be in everything but a casket. So why ain't nobody talking about the shootout that happened at Key Glock album release party last night? Inquiring minds want to know. And y'all pay close attention, because whatever homie was saying in Key Glock era, that shit had to be top secret, some very important shit. That shit had to be G14 classified. And before y'all say I'm lying, here go the footage.
Do you feel any pressure or any weight on your shoulders for Paper Route just holding it all down since Dolph has been gone? Like, do you feel like it's all on you?
Nah, because it ain't all on me. It's on all of us.
For sure.
Yeah, you can't just...
You like the closest thing to him, though, bro.
Not really.
I ain't gonna care. When I hear you talk,
really.
When I hear you
like
rap...
music-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Music-wise?
Yeah, for sure.
I get emotional a little bit because I be like, damn, it sound like my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's always been like that. But he's not here to give us anything new.
Right.
So when I hear your shit, I be like, oh man, this is what I...
Go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There you go.
Yeah, it's through.
Yeah, you feel me?
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
But you don't feel no pressure or nothing.
It's not mine. Like, Paper Route is his.
Yeah.
And then, like, other than me, like being the closest person to him, like music-wise, is really Trey. Like this Trey. So I just, you know what I'm saying? I just be Glock.
There's a clip circulating right now of a man asking why nobody's talking about the shootout at Key Glock's release party, and then saying that whatever Glock was rapping about on that album had to be top secret, G14 classified. That clip, a minute and a half of a man asking a question, has Memphis and the whole culture sitting up straight, not because of the words themselves, because of who's saying them, and because of the last time this man's name was in the air. His name is Hernandez Goen. And the last time his name was everywhere, a jury had just set him free in the murder of one of the most beloved figures Memphis has ever produced. So when that man pops up smiling and asking why nobody's discussing Glock's party getting lit up, that's not a question. That's a message. And tonight we're breaking down every layer of it. First, let's be clear about something important. As of this video, there is no police report, no Memphis PD statement, no local news coverage saying anyone was shot at Key Glock's release party. The only thing that exists is that clip, that voice, and that energy. So if you came for a death count, that's not what this is. The clip is real. The man on it is real. The history behind it is documented and bloody. The shooting itself, unconfirmed. Keep that in your pocket as we go deeper, because somebody wants you to fill that gap with your own worst fears. That's the whole play. To understand why this clip matters, you have to go back to November 17th, 2021. Young Dolph, Adolph Thornton Jr., was the Memphis legend who turned down every major deal that came knocking. He built Paper Route Empire from nothing, owned his masters, put on his own city, and proved that a Memphis artist could go fully independent and still stack plaques and sell out arenas. He was home that November afternoon at Makita's Homemade Cookies, a neighborhood bakery, the kind of spot a man only goes when he feels safe. Two men walked up and turned it into a crime scene in broad daylight. Key Glock, real name Marquivus Gentry, wasn't just an artist Dolph signed. That was his cousin, his mentor. Dolph brought Glock into Paper Route Empire in 2017 and basically handed him the blueprint. They made joint projects together, Dumb and Dumber, the sequels, and spent months on the road under the same roof. When Dolph died, Glock didn't just lose a boss. He lost the closest thing he had to a big brother. He went silent for a stretch, said in interviews he couldn't record, had to sit still and let time do what time does. And on top of the grief, he inherited an empire. Dolph's life's work, the whole proof of concept that independence could win, landed on the shoulders of a young man who was still figuring out how to grieve. Running a label and mourning your cousin at the same time is a pressure most people will never understand. And Glock did it publicly, with the whole culture watching. That's the foundation. Now here's the case. The investigation into Dolph's murder pulled names like dominoes. Justin Johnson, straight drop, was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy. Life plus 35 years. His appeal was heard and denied. He's not coming home. Cornelius Smith Jr. was the sex shooter. He flipped, became the state's witness, sat on the stand, and started naming names. This past May 2026, Smith took a plea deal. Second-degree murder, 20 years, with the bigger charges dropped in exchange for his cooperation. A third man, Jamarcus Johnson, took a plea as an accomplice. That's the trigger end of it. all accounted for. But in the streets and in that courtroom, everybody knew the shooters were the bottom of the pyramid. The question that kept Memphis up at night was who sent them? Who paid? Who pointed? Name number 1 on that list was Anthony Mims, Big Juke, the brother of Yo Gotti. According to testimony in the case, Big Juke was the one who allegedly ordered and financed the hit. The streets pointed to a rivalry that had been building for years. Dolph's refusal to sign with Gotti's camp, that independence creating a tension that allegedly turned deadly, but Big Juke never saw a courtroom for it. In January 2024, he was shot and killed outside a Memphis restaurant before any charges could be filed against him. The alleged man at the top of the pyramid got taken off the board by the streets before the law could touch him. That leaves Hernandez Gone. The state's theory was that Gone, known as Quet, was the middleman, the orchestrator who allegedly connected Big Juke's order to the shooters who carried it out for a reported $10,000. First-degree murder. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, the kind of charges that bury a man for the rest of his natural life. They brought him to trial in August 2025. The prosecution put up 8 witnesses. Dolph's sister, his head of security, the lead investigator, digital forensics. They pointed to phone records showing Gone in contact with the shooters after the murder. They showed a white Mercedes tied to the killing that was found at an abandoned house directly across from where Gone lived on Bradley Street. They had a music video screenshot showing Gone in that same driveway. And their star witness, Cornelius Smith, got on the stand and directly tied Gone to the conspiracy. Smith's own girlfriend had told police, in her words, "Quet set this up," sounded airtight. The defense, led by attorney Manny Aurora, took a sledgehammer to Smith's credibility. They argued he was a man cooperating to save himself, willing to name anyone to shrink his sentence. They had receipts. Smith's story had shifted across multiple tellings, naming different people in different versions. The phone contact between Smith and Gone? Aurora said they had a drug relationship. Them talking wasn't proof of murder, it was just 2 men who already knew each other. The Mercedes across the street? Someone else tied to the case lived on that same block. The jury took 3 hours, not guilty on the murder, not guilty on the conspiracy. The jury foreman went on television afterward and said it directly. It wasn't about what was there, it was about what wasn't there. He said the state's star witness contradicted himself too many times, and that a case built on that foundation maybe never should have gone to trial. Gone wiped away tears in the courtroom, walked outside and told the cameras the jury got it right and gave him his life back. Said he knew in his heart he was innocent. Said he might leave Memphis altogether. Now picture how that verdict landed for Key Glock. He posted 4 words, "My city failed," then deleted it. But the internet doesn't forget. That screenshot lives. 4 words that said everything he didn't want to say directly. He wasn't naming anyone, wasn't making threats, wasn't doing anything he could get jammed up for. But he was telling the world he believed the system let the people responsible for his cousin's murder walk. Whack 100 weighed in after, saying Glock's frustration came from a real place, but that the legal process had to be respected. 2 truths colliding right there, the grief and the law. So now flash forward to this clip. Whoever is on that recording, and the streets are putting Gone's name on it, is sitting back asking why nobody's discussing a shootout at Glock's party, then dropping that line about Glock's lyrics being top secret, G14 classified. You see what that is? That's a man positioning himself as someone who knows what's being said about him on wax, treating Glock's bars like coded intelligence that only certain people can fully decode. Given that Glock publicly said, "My city failed," the day this man walked free. Given that Glock just announced his new album Project X dropping June 19th. Given that Glock is building his own record label this summer to carry Dolph's legacy forward. Right at the peak of everything Glock is trying to build, here comes a cryptic clip. Here come the questions. Here comes the smoke. The streets don't believe in coincidence. When a man is shining hardest is exactly when certain things come looking for him. Sometimes real smoke, sometimes manufactured smoke designed to dim the light. Knowing which is the whole game. What's confirmed right now is that Key Glock is alive, working, and building. Project X on June 19th. A new label in his cousin's honor. Fashion deals. A packed tour. This is a man turning grief into legacy in real time. The clip is real. The man on it is real. The history behind both of them is soaked in blood and pain, and a courtroom that Memphis didn't feel delivered justice. The shooting at the party is unconfirmed, and until a report says different, that's where it stays. But here's the thing that matters beyond all the confirmed and unconfirmed details. A man acquitted in the murder of your cousin can pop up online, speak in 15-second riddles about your event, and send the whole internet spinning without confirming a single fact. That tells you exactly where the power sits right now. It's not in the courtroom, it's in the timeline. And Glock's answer to all of it has been the same answer Dolph gave his whole life: keep building. When they expect you to react, you ship. That's the marathon. That's the legacy. Drop a comment. You think that clip is really gone? And if it is, what's he actually saying?